and welcome to the First Issue Club podcast. We are your weekly comic book reading club that covers, what do you call them? First issues, the beginning of the story, most of the time. If you're a longtime comic reader, sometimes first issues are just as convoluted as number 536.
Ha! Gotcha. And sometimes issue 536 is issue number 1.
Feels like a first issue and a great jumping on point.
And you're probably scratching your head like, what the hell does that mean? Hold on tight. We'll explain it as the series goes on.
This is why you have First Issue Club.
Totally.
We're going to help you navigate those muddy and murky waters of the comic book industry, and we'll do it gladly because just like Sue Storm, we love a good read.
We are the prime example of stupid people asking stupid questions.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, you may be scared to ask these things in your local comic book shop.
Yep.
We're not.
Nope.
And we have. And we brought back the answers for you.
That's exactly right.
That's the best part about a podcast is not only do we ask the stupid questions, we answer them too.
Mm-hmm.
Whether their answer is correct or not ultimately doesn't matter.
I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, fact check us.
Yeah. You won't.
You can't cancel me. Actually, you probably can, so please don't.
All right. I am Mike D.
I'm Greg.
And I am Vargas.
And together we are the speaking portion of the club, and you, the listener, are the non-speaking portion. I mean, you can talk to your stereo or whatever you're listening to this on, but
Yeah.
we're not necessarily going to talk back. If you do want to talk to us specifically and hear your sweet little voice on the First Issue Club podcast, we do have a phone number.
We do.
Do you remember it? Or you can just
Off
say
the top of my head. So here's the thing
you
about
can
the
say
phone.
check our social.
Check our
1-800
socials.
comic book. Surprisingly, it was available.
That's what pisses me off. We got this like burner app thing to like do these fun little phone call bits. I can't make the phone number.
Sure.
Like it's just randomly given to you. And the number we got doesn't spell anything cool. So I can't even like make a fun little thing to joke about.
Sure.
But if you want to call in with a question, comment, or just to yell at us, call 816-579-1734. Message and data rates do apply. Text or call. No one from First Issue Club will text or call you back. I have to be very specific about that. If you're calling to chat, I'm not going to talk to you. That's what Twitter's for.
No, that's what this podcast is for. We'll talk back at you like a week later through a recording.
Through this. Now, if you want to hear your voice, check out the Discord.
Yeah.
First Issue Club. We do some shows over there sometimes. Check out the Patreon, patreon.com/First Issue Club.
What are we doing today on the Patreon?
We got Tales from the Shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have some questions about trading comic books at
Yeah, we're
comic
doing a
book
con this
conventions?
weekend, and you're wondering what to do about some books you've got.
I've seen it happen before.
Yep.
So I'm going to dip my toe into bringing some books I want to unload and see what I can get
Hell yeah.
from that. Probably talk about some variants that we've purchased
Right on.
on eBay.
Good shit.
I don't know if I have a list to yell at, but I'm sure I can drum up something.
All right, great. On today's episode of First Issue Club, we're going to hit some news like we always do to start the show. First thing I saw was that Image is now off of Diamond Distributors
It's on Lunar.
on Lunar now, which is what DC uses, correct?
Yes.
Last I heard, DC was on Lunar.
So they're a Tuesday book then.
Yes, they are.
Right.
Okay.
No longer is Wednesday the dominant day for new comic books. It's Tuesday and Wednesday now.
Yep. Image was the largest publisher that was on Diamond.
Left.
Yeah. I know Boom is still on
Mhm.
Diamond.
I want to say Dark Horse.
Maybe.
I think everybody but the
Marvel,
big three.
DC, and Image.
Yeah.
That could be right.
They lost their 3 prize hogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that.
Honestly, thank God. It's like
I don't have any reason to like love or hate Diamond.
It's just like Nero playing his violin as the city burned. Like
I
for
think,
so long, Diamond was like the monopoly of the whole industry.
Yeah.
Well, and they got too big for their britches. Like,
Mhm.
ask anybody who owns a shop, and they'll tell you the horror story of like books coming in a box that's been stepped on and a dog shit in it,
Yeah.
and they don't send you replacement copies or whatever. Like,
Or they just don't send books at all.
yeah, they
Yeah,
just
they
don't
don't-
send the right ones.
They
Yeah.
don't arrive on time. I know there was a lot of delay
Yeah.
problems with Diamond.
NJD up in New Jersey told us stories about how sometimes his boxes of books wouldn't show up till the next week.
Yeah.
And as a shop, you can't survive on that instability.
At that point, especially if there's a book that someone's dying to pick up or read, if you wait a week, someone's either bought it online, bought it at a competing shop just to get their fix. Like, that's tough.
Yeah. So, yeah, I saw that. And so, I mean, I don't know what Diamond's going to do to maintain. I mean, unless they offer just gigantic discounts to Boom and Dark Horse for being loyal.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're striking out at these like new hotness indie publishers like Whatnot and
oh, that's right, Whatnot's still on there.
You know, some of those guys. Like that seems like that has to be the place that they go if they want to try and stay competitive.
It could be. And Lunar may have just showed up to Image and just given them a badass deal.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but I think what's really telling is people are just fed up with Diamond.
For sure.
And now that they have different options, I mean, you're going to go shopping for better deals out there.
Yeah.
Well, and it's the larger publishers that have the infrastructure to handle more of the process on their own, which I think is why Lunar saves them money, is that they're taking on the burden of some of the distribution process.
Right. It's like how some people use those T-shirt companies that print your logo and mail them out for you.
Right.
Yeah, the print on demand.
Yeah, like they may take a little more off the top, but I don't have to worry about shipping out 25 T-shirts.
Yeah.
And Marvel is Penguin, right?
Yeah, because that's
Isn't that weird?
It's owned by
Disney, probably.
Disney subsidiary or whatever.
I will say this: the new like collected edition trades that Penguin's putting out for like Doctor Strange and Fantastic Four and older books like that are gorgeous.
Speaking of,
they're beautiful.
Speaking of, and also news, Micronauts.
Let's get into it. That was my piece of news.
That was my next one. They're reprinting all the Micronauts stuff.
So Marvel and Hasbro have formed a deal to bring ROM and Micronauts back to do like the omnibuses, like the collected editions, first time ever through Marvel. And my question is this going to lead to new series of ROM and Micronauts?
Dude,
my answer in my head, absolutely.
There are so many old heads that would fill their pants if Marvel came out and they were like, Al Ewing's writing a new ROM series.
Fuck that, Grant Morrison.
Oh my God. Now I'm filling my pants.
I think it makes sense. This deal makes sense to me. Hasbro, huge toy titan.
Yeah.
Marvel, killing it with the movies, the comics. I mean, Hasbro went to IDW for a while after they left Marvel. And now that they see the success that Marvel and Disney is having, I mean, why wouldn't Hasbro want to sign a deal, make even more money? I would think they would make even more money if like they made a character that wound up in an MCU movie.
Oh yeah,
they'll be making the toys of that character. So I honestly think we'll see more ROM and Micronauts in comic books soon.
Yeah,
and in the MCU. Bet your bottom dollar.
I almost think not, unless they can be sure that they own things outright and indefinitely, because they're going to find themselves in the same problem that they were in, wherein they have gaps in their stories because Micronauts crossed over with X-Men.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now we can't put those books in trades, and we can't publish collected editions of X-Men Micronauts stuff. As soon as they lose the rights to those things again, that just all becomes so convoluted to figure out.
I think to that point, though, I think there's more stability with Marvel now. I mean, I think Hasbro left in the 90s. No. It was in the 2000s when Hasbro and Marvel split. But I mean, with the foundation they have now with Disney and all their movies, like I imagine they can strike a deal that's beneficial to both parties. I would hope.
So the thing that I'm trying to rack my brain over is the last Transformers comics that came out. Are those still on IDW?
As far as I know.
Because that's a Hasbro property.
Oh, you know what?
You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
Hasbro left IDW.
So there's no current Transformers series.
That happened
Okay.
a year or so ago. IDW lost a bunch of its licensing property.
Interesting. Well, that would be sick.
Transformers at Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, all of that Hasbro stuff at Marvel
Yeah.
would be awesome.
Yeah.
The Marvel pre-orders are just going to become a nightmare because there's already so many books to look through.
Yeah.
And if they keep adding stuff like Planet of the Apes, Predator,
Mm-hmm.
like all these movie and toy franchises just keep getting glommed on to Marvel, I'm going to have like 1,000 books to look through.
No, it's going to be way easier because then they'll just buy DC and you'll only have to have one previews book.
Yeah. You say nightmare. I say dream.
Yeah.
The Planet of the Apes series is fucking legit.
It's dope.
I
It's
skipped it.
very good.
It's too much stuff to buy. Some of the covers are amazing.
Yeah.
The Alien and Predator stuff, the Predator stuff specifically,
Mm-hmm.
is like some of the best Predator material out there.
Mm-hmm. Is that Brisson?
Yeah, Brisson's writing.
And Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing Alien.
He did Alien.
Alien.
Declan Shalvey's
Declan Shalvey, that's
writing
right.
the current.
They have creators I love on all those books.
That's what's so fucking crazy about. You think like these movie tie-in merchandise stuff would be like kind of throwaway from Marvel, but no, they just throw their best fucking writers and artists on there.
Which is great.
I totally agree. It's like when I found out that Frank Miller was doing the RoboCop series.
Yeah. And that series is great.
It's very good. Speaking of great things, did you hear that Ahoy Comics is doing a 13-part like prose series in the back of some of their books written by none other than Grant Morrison?
No.
Yeah, so it's a new thing they're going to be doing in the fall. It's kind of like how in The Watchmen they had that, written story about the
Tales
pirate
from the
or-
Black Freighter.
Yeah, that guy. So like Grant Morrison's writing this 13-part prose wackadoo story for Ahoy Comics.
Great. Are these across disparate issues?
That's what it sounds like.
Yes, it's
Good.
I think it's over. I think it. Well, hold
so
on.
hard to read.
But the series that it's like spanned over all have a common theme. So if like one connects with you, chances are the other. I think it's only 2 or 3 series that this is like weaving in and out of.
Okay.
So
That still gets a big sigh from me.
okay, temper your size.
No, that gets a big sigh from me.
Okay.
I'd rather buy.
Would it help to say that Mark Russell is also attached to this?
Okay, that makes it a little better.
Okay. See.
But that's still harder for me to swallow than me having to buy 13 issues of an Ahoy series I don't care about. Now I have to buy 5 issues of 3 Ahoy series that I don't care about.
But you already buy 13 series of a DC thing that you don't care about either.
Okay, now you're coming at me. Why are you calling me out?
I'm
like
just
this?
trying to say, with your boy
Why are
Grant
you buying
Morrison
anything you don't
attached,
care about?
because we're stupid,
Because Grant Morrison's writing it. I care about Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
and he cares about you too. He probably does.
Oh,
They
yeah.
probably do. I'm sorry, I can't
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that wrong.
They definitely greet me in my mind palace while I'm sleeping.
Ahoy there, Vargas.
Do you remember Joe Hill's imprint on DC that was like short-lived? It was called Hill House.
Hill House, yeah.
Hill House had a backup comic that was an homage to Watchmen. It was pirate themed,
Oh, okay.
and it did the same thing. Where if you bought every Hill House book,
I remember
Mhm.
that.
you would get like 3 pages of a comic book. Obviously,
yeah.
this is going to be like
This is a prose, like,
prose thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how many pages each book it's going to be?
No.
No.
All I know is it's 13 parts.
I'd be shocked if it was more than 3 pages
Yeah.
of prose.
Of
I mean,
just,
if
like,
it's
dense
if
text.
it's just straight prose, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read anything by Grant Morrison in prose.
Dude, you have to read Super Gods.
Okay.
What's
it about?
It's his book about superheroes in pop culture,
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
nonfiction.
Interesting.
It's incredible.
Really?
Yeah,
How big is it? It's an important question.
I mean,
Greg's out.
Yeah. Ugh. Pictures or no?
no, it's a book, like a almost a textbook.
Gross.
No. It's an incredible read.
Okay. Super Gods?
This is the episode
Super
where
Gods.
Greg finds out
I'll
that
check it
there's
out.
books without pictures.
Yeah. What is this, hell? Speaking of Super Gods, I have a Gods, Gods update for Marvel's Jonathan Hickman series. Here's the only reason I bring this up. The article I read threw in this line in the article, and I almost threw my computer out of the window. And it said, Marvel's epic Gods, the series which has been described as Marvel's answer to Sandman. Full stop.
Okay.
Full fucking stop. Like, let's not even attempt to do that. Like, the series isn't even out yet. Let's not try to compare it to maybe one of the greatest written things in comic books.
You know what we need is our own Sandman in 2023.
Like, fucking get over yourself.
And nothing against Jonathan Hickman. Jonathan Hickman is one of the greatest living comic book writers.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not Neil Gaiman. Like,
not yet.
I mean, yet. I guess this could be his Sandman. Sure. Why not? But that is a lofty statement for a book that's not out yet.
And also, there's no fucking way it will be.
Yeah, of course it won't be.
Because Sandman lives in like the indie comic sphere of like unattached to anything.
Yeah, it's original character, original story.
Yeah, they didn't have an editor just be like, well, you can't do that with that character because they're doing like this is already behind so much Marvel red tape. I don't care if it is Jonathan Hickman and they're doing all these amazing I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's never gonna touch Sandman.
Yeah. To equate an event book to anything like that is a little bit.
It's like saying Empire is better than Watchmen. It's like, in what fucking world?
Yeah.
So
you know how World War Hulk is like Preacher.
Yeah. Or like Champions is of Mice and Men.
Mm-hmm. Our podcast is an answer to the White Album.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Gray Album minimum. I just wanted they showed off some like characters that will be showing up in the series that are like going to be part of the new hierarchy or behind the scenes cosmic shit that's going to be happening with gods. And some of these names are fucking wild.
Yeah.
First of all, there's Wynn, a powerful magic expert who's operated in secret for thousands of years and is now forced to come out of the shadows.
Uh-huh.
How is that spelled?
As dumb as you think. W-Y-N.
Oh, okay.
You think I said it wrong?
No,
I was just wondering. I didn't know if it was that
like Win?
NG.
Oh, no.
Y.
Oh, yeah.
It's more mystical than rooted in reality. Dimitri the Science Boy.
Uh-huh.
That's the full Dimitri the Science Boy.
That is how it is given to us.
Okay.
So, already on par with Sandman.
Uh-huh.
Wynn's reckless partner, who has a secret mission of his own to discover the dark truth of his past. Maya the Magic Girl, a young sorcerer struggling to achieve her full potential. And Cubisk Core, a mysterious being of pure corruption seeking to shatter the existing systems.
Cubis.
Now, with names like that, I am kind of pulling back my excitement for gods.
I think there are Kirby-esque homage names.
They
totally
is what I get the impression of.
And I saw the variant covers, and they all just look like folks.
Yeah.
Like they're not wearing like capes and
except Cubik's Core, who looks like the masked magician hit with a piece of metal.
Yeah, he's got a thing. But like the other three are just like dudes.
Yeah. Humans.
Yeah.
Humanoids. So
because I saw the one where it was like Dimitri, because they're doing variants across Marvel series, of course, for all these different people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Dimitri standing next to Moon Knight, and it's just like a guy standing next to Moon Knight on the top of a building or whatever.
They went to J.C. Penney's and got like pictures taken. It's just like these variant covers aren't really dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with that, where are we standing with gods? Do we build them up or tear them down?
I'm incredibly excited to read this thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm super jazzed about it.
I can't wait to figure out what the heck it is.
For sure.
Well, stay tuned, folks.
I mean, the concept sounded great.
To see if it stands up to Sandman in any way.
I think part of me thinks that the creators might even cringe at that statement. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
This was probably like Marvel PR being like, it kind of reminds us of something Sandman-esque, and then they worded it in a way that was like, man, you just don't say that to comic book fans.
Yeah.
No.
You don't say we've got an answer to.
Because you're almost just like, do you mean like in scope?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it's gonna be big and vast, or like, because like you don't do that shit. Like you don't compare a masterpiece to something that hasn't even come out yet.
But even
right.
then, if you're trying to compare the scope of Sandman, it's way less abrasive to say it's on the scope of the Eternals or New Gods.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
compared to something in house.
Yeah. So something a little more up Marvel's alley than
Yeah.
Sandman.
Yeah, because like Machine Gun Kelly can't come out and be like, hey, you like pet sounds? Well,
Oh my
wait till
God.
you hear this new fucking album.
Jesus Christ.
My new album, Kill Shelter.
Oh, Jesus.
That's all the news I got.
Yeah. I don't have any.
Let's get into them comics. What'd you guys read this week?
Do you want to talk about Fury?
Yeah, we can talk about Fury.
Can I say, I love the cover you have here. Is that Chris Samney?
Chris Samney.
Oh,
beautiful
of
cover.
course.
Genius. Fury by Al Ewing.
Yep. And a whole bunch of artists.
A plethora of artists. I want to wag my finger at Marvel real quick
Careful. The
because
fingers out.
Fury, seemingly an unassuming book written by Al Ewing, blew my socks off.
Yeah.
Cosmic Ghost Rider, unassuming book written by Stephanie Phillips, blew my fucking socks off.
Uh-huh.
Stop doing this. You're giving attention to the wrong books. Like, there should be a giant spotlight on Fury this week
Yeah.
because it did something that it shouldn't have been able to do, which was take 50 years of Nick Fury history and make it into a straight line.
Yeah.
And everyone fucking understands what's happening.
And set the record straight for a lot of, like, clean up all these hanging Nick Fury loose ends.
Yep.
And pave the way for Nick Fury moving forward.
Oh my God. It like opened the door to where Nick Fury, pun intended,
Yeah.
is going to be going from here on out.
Yeah.
To give you some context, this wraps in every Nick Fury that you've ever met.
Yeah.
We have Ultimate Nick Fury. We have classic Jim Sternecko Nick Fury. And then we have, what's the other one?
The World War II Nick Fury.
World War II Nick Fury.
Because the World War II Nick Fury, I think, is like technically like a Jake Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Nick Fury Sr.,
Yes.
who is Nick Fury Jr.'s Samuel L. Jackson Nick Fury's dad.
Yes. Which I apparently forgot.
Yeah.
Because during that whole thing, I was just like, oh, yeah. They're like
That's
related.
That's one of the great things this book does, is it brings all those folks, those related dudes together,
Mhm.
lays out the timeline in a way that makes sense,
Mhm.
and it kind of establishes their relationship to each other.
Yes. Wraps up Nick Fury on the moon.
Yeah. The man on the wall who has been there since 2015.
Ever since
Original
Sin.
Sin.
Maybe
yeah.
even before 2015.
Yeah.
And the way they handled that story was incredible.
So cool.
And I think we may even get some stuff with him and his new journey that he's going on,
I hope so.
because that sounds rad.
Yeah.
And it was really brilliant that Al Ewing was just like, we got too many Nick Furies.
Yeah.
Let's just simplify it, make one Nick Fury. Let's explain it right now. And they added another acronym group of villains
Yep.
called Scorpio. Or I guess, is this a
an
pre-existing
existing
Scorpio?
thing,
Yeah. They threw them in the mix. This was Acronym City.
Yeah. Scorpio, Zodiac, Ace, Shield.
Yeah, they mentioned
they're all in here.
Orcus.
Like, yeah.
Everyone's mentioned. So they wrap all that stuff up, and it's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
They call Nick Fury a Nepo baby,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
Yeah.
And it actually got me excited to read more Nick Fury shit.
Yeah. man.
And that's hard to do. That is really hard to do.
Which I don't understand, because Fury is just Marvel's James Bond. It's their in-house James Bond
Yeah.
character.
But
and
they haven't done that.
they totally underutilize him.
I hope that it changes with this new TV show coming out.
Yeah. Secret
Secret Invasion, which is basically going to be a Marvel James Bond series.
I'm so excited for that.
Because, I mean, this book was incredible and so easy to understand.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this was my pick of the week, Fury. I'm shocked to say it myself, folks.
One of the things I want to highlight, and I'm just going to flip through this for Mike D, is so Nick Fury Jr. goes on an adventure and he starts the plot, and then he references his family
lineage
files.
Yes.
He's like flipping through the files, right? So he pulls out these files and they're called Picto files or something. They're just comic
They're
books.
comic books.
They're just Nick Fury stories in continuity, whatever. So the panel starts and he pulls out this file and it's like the cover of a comic book. And then it goes into
that comic.
Into a
comic
comic book.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
then,
it just continues.
Yeah, and like when they do like the in comic book world, he's wearing the classic Jim Stranecco spacesuit.
Yeah, that's rad.
So the way they even have like weaved that story in is just like no better person to handle this than Al Ewing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the artist changes. There were 2 or 3 artists in this book.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's just super fun, well worth your $6.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Andy and I were talking before the show started that this may be kind of the taste of what they're going to be trying to do with gods.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the book, they've mentioned all these doorways and all these different keys that Zodiac has around the world that can do a massive damage or have immense power. So, I mean, who knows what this is setting up, but I mean, thrilling to say the least.
Yeah.
We have LMDs in this.
Yep.
We do, right off the start.
How do you have a Nick Fury book without LMDs?
True.
That's a thing that I roll my eyes at. I don't know if they made a gag out of it.
So they make an entire squad of Nick Fury Jr. LMDs.
Okay.
And he like assaults the base with a team of himself.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
And he has like laser gloves
Yeah.
in this where he can shoot lasers from his fingers like a gun.
It's so sick.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
It was very heartwarming, charming, campy. Like, it was just badass.
Yeah, it was great. I read last week the Hulk annual that we were also excited about.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And this was as good as you expect a David Pepos book to be, especially given the premise of a documentary crew going out to film the Hulk, and be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
They find the Hulk, and he's fighting, a giant mutant monster.
Was he fighting Giganto or something?
They don't name him Giganto, but it definitely looked like Giganto.
Gotcha.
And they also have a little cameo appearance from the Mole Man
Oh, nice.
from Fantastic Four #1. That was super funny. But yeah, this was a great annual. It leads kind of directly into Philip Kennedy Johnson's Hulk #1. There's a little epilogue that ties this story directly into whatever's going to happen there.
That's going to be exciting.
That's going to be very cool, especially because it's Nick Klein and Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Yeah, great team.
That book's going to rip. So if you're in the mood for a Cloverfield-style book in the Marvel Universe, the Hulk Annual is a great one-shot, again, especially for $5.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
David Pepos on Twitter shared an image of a Blair Witch homage he put in the book like the mom holding like a kid in like a red coat or whatever is like a complete rip from the Blair Witch Project. But like before the movie gets all creepy of like the mom in the movie just like, don't go out and like you don't need to do all that. And he said he put it in the book and thought it would be like kind of a funny Easter egg to hide even more found footage stuff in his book.
That's great. I missed that. I'll have to go through it again.
My problem with this and other annuals that are coming out with Marvel is how small they write the word annual on this. I mean, you almost have to get
Is it on there?
what
the fuck?
You almost have to get out a magnifying glass to read that that's an annual.
Yeah, it's up in the corner. I'll call it a corner box.
Yeah.
Where it says Marvel 1, and then below it says like where the legacy number would be.
Yes,
I
where
suppose.
and your eyes typically just breeze right over that, right? And to think about if you're a
Newbie.
kind of a newbie, or you're just looking for like a jumping on point. Like that's not what you're going to get, and you're going to be hella confused when a second Hulk 1 comes out in a month.
Yeah.
They're going to have 2 Hulk number 1s come out.
At least you're
month
getting
apart.
At least you're getting a complete story, though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like I can see how that. I don't know. This is a good jumping on point, I would say, but it's number 1 is probably going to be the better jumping on point.
Sure.
Yeah. This feels disingenuous to me because annuals are for like
Biggins.
longtime readers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then a first issue is for more of Gen Pop.
You know what? I
And
like
they're going
that
to
take.
sell a lot more of these with people thinking that this is a new series. I guarantee half of the people who bought this comic, just like browsing through their shop,
Yeah.
didn't know it was an annual.
I agree. I don't think annuals should have a number on them. You know what I mean?
I'm totally behind that.
It should say Hulk annual because
Yeah.
the one, you're right, completely throws you off.
If you want to do, sometimes they do multiple annuals in a year. do like a January annual and a June annual.
Yeah.
Put the month on it.
Put the year in it.
Yeah, put the year in it.
Hulk Marvel
2023.
2023.
Hulk winter special.
Oh hell yeah, that sounds pleasant.
Mm-hmm. Thank
Hulk,
you.
Hulk in earmuffs.
But
And-
no, they do this numbering to sell more.
And also, this is my final plea to Marvel and DC. Make annuals square bound again. Like, make them be. I remember when annuals were like the phone book.
Yeah,
Like, they were just stuffed to the gills.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
Hashtag, come on.
Prestige annuals.
Head to social media, folks. Hashtag, come on. Let's get annuals the size they need to be.
What'd you read, Mike D?
Yeah, Mike D.
I'm waiting this weekend for a shipment of an entire month's worth of comics to
Ooh.
arrive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little behind on the latest issues.
So you can like sit in your box like a beanbag chair.
Yeah,
With all your
exactly
issues.
right. I've also been playing a lot of Tears of the Kingdom,
Sure.
so I haven't been reading because of that.
Some Zelda.
I did read a handful of graphic novels, Ephemera, Keeping Two, and what was the last one? Oh, Flavor Girls, which is a
Oh,
boom.
yeah. I
boom
remember Flavor
book.
Girls.
I read the first issue of Flavor Girls, which is kind of like a Sailor Moon take, and it was really fun. I don't know if I should recap those, or if I should save that for
We should do a
like
special
like a special graphic
Yeah.
novel kind of episode.
Mike Trades episode.
Mike Trades.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of super fun things, I read Supermassive.
Yep.
Out on Image, I believe.
Is it
It's-
a massive verse book?
Yes, it's by Kyle Higgins, Ryan Parrott, Melissa Flores, and Matt Grom. It's in.
Oh, I love Matt Grom.
He's in. It's in the world of Radiant Black, Radiant Pink, Dead Lucky,
No one.
No One, which is an amazing series. Holy shit!
Yeah.
This is like their big event book. It's like it's like an annual for them.
Oh, okay.
So all the characters
Yeah, I
are
was
coming
gonna say,
together.
there was a book called Supermassive like a year ago.
Yes. So this is kind of like their thing where they get all, not all, but a lot of the characters from that universe together to solve a big problem in their world.
Was this a number one?
No, just as Supermassive.
It's just Supermassive.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have a number.
They fucking did it right. What do you
How
know?
about that?
Is this like a crisis?
No. What do you mean?
How
Like,
do I
like
Like
an,
Crisis on Infinite Earth?
yeah, like an
thing, or-
event where they're
No.
like, oh, look, Batman, there's Green Arrow.
No,
Okay.
no. So that's what's great about the Massive verse. Like they all know about each other.
Oh, okay.
And so I've said this from the beginning with Radiant Black and all the subsequent books that have come out. It maintains its fun. Like it's a book that is well written, well illustrated, has a good time. I don't want to like say it doesn't take itself too seriously because that makes it seem like it's like kiddish or like not really well put together. But it's just a fun book about young adults with powers and suits and stuff, and like Like Kyle Higgins and Ryan Parrott are from Power Rangers adjacent books. So they basically just like took their version of that into Image and are making this sprawling, massive universe with these characters that seem relatable and fun to be around. And it's they have a way of writing dialogue that's relatable and like how people actually talk in the real world.
Yeah, it's very colloquial.
I think I mean, obviously, I don't have to tell you they've done a great job of this, but all the time, comic book creators are constantly trying to create the formula for an integrated universe on a publisher that isn't Marvel and DC.
Right.
So you can own it all and benefit from all that stuff. How many times has Valiant tried to kind of reboot all these characters, and it's sometimes you get some avail there, and other times it's not so hot, but they're constantly redoing it. A lot of other creators have done imprints or grandiose stories that don't get you rolling. I think starting with something like a Radiant Black,
oh yeah,
that gets a lot of hype, and then
building from there
and spurring off of it, not starting with the big thing first and starting with the small thing and then growing while it's still fresh and hot in people's minds.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times you'd say, okay, I've done 20 some issues of this comic book. People like it. Let's do a tie-in. Well, at that point, some of the hype has died down.
Right.
And these guys, when the iron was still hot from Radiant Black, we're like, we're doing a second book.
Yeah.
And then a third, and then a fourth. They just came so quickly.
Well, and what they didn't do, they're keeping it all in-house. So, it would have been easy to do Radiant Black X Spawn, right?
Sure.
And they hopefully purposefully didn't do that, because that would have been a shitty book, because Todd McFarlane would have written it and they would have sold 1 million copies, but it would have been terrible and it would have killed the direction of their...
Would have been a little shark jumpy.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't want to spoil the end of this book because it fucking rips.
Spawn shows up.
I'm not going to say that. But the great thing about this book and this series is it found its lane quickly, stayed in it, and then just built on it more and more and more. And it shouldn't have happened this way as successfully as it did, but it has, wherein they introduced, like you said, Radiant Red, Radiant Pink, Dead Lucky, Rogue Sun. And normally you would introduce that in the same series. It would be Radiant Black, and then these characters would show up. What they did was they just added different series of books in addition to Radiant Black, and they all like converge into one point and then separate again and then converge again. And it shouldn't work like that, especially at an indie publisher like Image in this new series. It shouldn't be as successful with that, but they've somehow caught lightning in a bottle 5 different times.
Yeah.
And people have just gobbled it up.
My big thing when it started, and back when we had the budget king who didn't want to spend a lot of money on comics,
R.I.P.
His take, obviously being a budget guy, was that, how do you expect me a few months in to be buying multiple titles every month to stay in your universe? And it kind of is a big ask for something so new.
It's a huge ask.
But I think people are excited about those books, and maybe when you fell off of Radiant Black, you kept reading Rogue Sun, and it kind of kept you tied to the universe, that you can jump back in it after something like a Supermassive comes out. You're like, oh, I did dig that. I'll start buying Radiant Black again. And this starts to become a little more of like a easy X-verse or Spider-Verse thing for you. Like, if you're a Spider-Man freak, you're buying tons of titles every month. If you're an X-Men freak, you're buying half a comic shop a month. Like, this is that on a manageable scale.
Yeah, it's
good creators.
Yeah, it's new. New readers are really attracted to it, and so I think that's why it's kind of taken off. Like they don't have 20 years of spider history to go back and learn or any shit like that. Like the last series I've seen do it as successfully as the Supermassive Verse is doing it is Jeff Lemire's Black Hammer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that when that series dropped, it was earth shattering. It was so good, and like they had different tie-ins and stuff, and it just all worked.
But that was still way more indie. I mean, partially because it was on Dark Horse,
Mhm.
but like Black Hammer is still way more indie than
Then
Radiant Black is.
I would agree, but like
And Black Hammer didn't. I don't think they went to alternate titles and tie-ins as quick as
no, hell
yeah.
no,
Radiant Black did.
Yeah.
no. Eventually they got there.
Where they were doing like mostly minis,
Yeah.
whereas Radiant Black or Supermassive has so many ongoings.
I can think of 5 off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? I really do think I've said it again, and I'm bad at reiterating myself, but I really do think they've created this kind of mold that people thought this is too much of a buy-in to ask of people.
Yeah.
But you're finding out that people are into these indie type stories, and if you've got good creators and create a universe really quickly while the hype surrounding one book is hot and you're just building constantly with the more titles. I mean, like, think about how much No One was selling for on the secondary market right away.
Right.
And that's a book that a shit ton of people pre-ordered because they know it ties into this, and it was still a highly sought after book.
It's crazy.
I think you're going to see a lot of creators, instead of doing their new book, you might have somebody like a Rick Remender or a Jonathan Hickman be like, all right, I've got 5 books planned for the next 2 months that I'm going to kick off. You know what I mean? Or more like 6 months.
Yeah.
The next 6 months, instead of bringing one book to Image that I'm going to be writing, I'm plotting out this big thing.
Yeah. No, that's it. They've definitely created the mold for other people to follow.
Sure.
And it's up to the new creators to succeed or not.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think what they've created over there in the Massive Verse is very unique. I mean, with No One, they created a specific podcast just to go along with the book. Like,
Yeah.
that's fucking unheard of.
Yeah.
And they got celebrities.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Massive celebrities to do it.
Yeah.
Pun intended. So yeah, I read Supermassive. It was a lot of fun. If you like the Massive Verse, you're gonna love this. Like I said, there's a cheeky little cameo at the end of this book.
It's Spawn.
I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let Supermassive wash over you.
Well, I'll do a couple of books rapid fire.
Yeah, go for it.
We got plenty of time.
Okay.
Yeah. Take your time.
I read. Well, I'll go last week first then. I read Titans out on DC.
Dawn of DC.
This is their replacement for the Justice League because Justice League has disbanded.
Okay.
So Titans are now the premier super team on Earth.
Oh, is this the book that everyone was mad about because Tom Taylor was on it?
Probably.
But
It's Tom Taylor and Nicholas Scott.
hey,
Why are people mad about Tom Taylor?
because people don't realize that Tom Taylor is an amazing writer.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah.
And they just, like, for whatever reason, people love dogging on Tom Taylor.
Really? I didn't know that. Oh. Leave
I-
Tom Taylor alone,
I will
everybody.
protect that writer till the end of my days.
Yeah, Tom Taylor rules.
Yeah. He gave us Spider Bite, so shut the fuck up.
He gave us a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But this book was really good. It re-familiarizes you with a lot of these teen characters.
Mm-hmm.
Are
They're
any of them teenagers?
no. None of them are teenagers. That's why they're just Titans,
They're
Next.
just Titans
not
now.
Teen
Okay.
Titans. But there is a murder mystery at the heart of this book,
Oh.
and anytime there's a superhero murder mystery, that gets me. I like that a lot.
Oh. You like a good clue.
I do. I like it. There's a budding romance between Raven and Beast Boy.
Ooh.
there is, whatever, all these people trying to step up to fill the shoes of their proteges at the Justice League.
Are they all still living together? Like in some weird animal house?
That's the beginning of, that's like the impetus of the story, is they're moving back into Titan Tower.
Okay, cool.
So they're gonna be living together.
That's like moving
T-shaped
in.
building that defies gravity.
Yeah.
That's like moving back in with your parents.
Well, they make a bunch of jokes about that.
Oh man,
It's great. No, super fun book. Tom Taylor rules. Nicola Scott's art is like second to none.
Mhm.
She's an absolutely incredible artist.
Hell yeah.
If anybody out there read Black Magic, that's
Oh right. Hell yeah.
She did that
Okay.
with Greg Rucka.
Nice.
So it's great.
Bring the motherfucking rucka.
I also read The Avengers #1 from Jed MacKay and CF Villa.
The yearly #1 Avengers book.
There hasn't been.
I'm kidding.
I was going to say,
kidding.
there hasn't been an Avengers #1 in like 7 years.
Holy shit, you wound up for that.
I'm tired of people dogging on that last Avengers series.
I'm with
was
you.
so good.
I loved Jason
Yeah.
Aaron's Avengers.
I loved it too.
Well, and this one is gearing up to be just as good. Jed MacKay is my boy. I'm just waiting for the book to change its title to Moon Knight and Friends. No, this is great. Captain Marvel becomes the chairperson of the Avengers.
I
Okay.
love it.
So she is gathering her crew, her new Avengers A team.
Mm-hmm.
And she recruits Scarlet Witch, Black Panther, Vision, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man.
So I'm confused because in the new Black Panther solicits, it almost seems like Black Panther is a fugitive or like on the run or something.
That is correct. He is no longer the king of Wakanda.
Okay.
So he has been exiled
Okay.
from Wakanda. But he is recruited to be an Avenger nonetheless for reasons that you can read about if you buy the book.
It's Spawn, isn't it?
It's Spawn. You got
Spawn
it.
is an Avengers. God damn it.
Black Panther is the crossover in Supermassive. You got it.
Holy shit.
But no, this is great. Again, it's, they're all teaming up to fight some giant monster. And it kind of cuts back and forth to why Captain Marvel picked these individuals to be on the team.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene when she's recruiting Sam Wilson, Captain America, where Sam and Steve are in a boxing gym training against each other, and all three of them just all call each other Cap. And it's great.
I love that.
They do a whole who's on first thing. It's incredible.
There is something always very exciting when a new Avengers title, like #1, comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Like I felt the same way when Jason Aaron started his, and you got the first Avengers Tower that is the old Eternals.
Oh yeah, the Avengers Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's just something kind of fun and like you're going on a new journey in D&D and you don't know what's up ahead. So this has the same kind of vibe to me of just ooh, what's Jed got in store for us?
And this, what I love about Jed MacKay specifically is he really lays out how he's going to use each character, right? Because again, the story is Captain Marvel picking these specific people to be on the team, and she talks about why. So,
oh, cool.
Jed literally lays it out on the page of I'm using Tony Stark because of his, the man under the armor, right?
Yeah.
Not for Iron Man, but for who Tony Stark is. Okay. I'm using Thor because he's got this perspective of a god, and he's the most powerful being on the planet, that kind of stuff. So very cool. I'm very excited about Avengers and Jed MacKay rules.
Do we know, I'm going to put this to the group. Do we know if there's ever been an Avengers title that hasn't featured Cap, Thor, or Iron Man?
Mainline Avengers?
Yes.
Probably back in the 90s.
Okay.
When
it just seems like they can't make an Avengers book without including one of those three.
Yeah, I don't know who the lineup was when Black Knight was the leader.
Oh, good call.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think Thor was there. If
but
not,
was it Thor or was it
Thunderstrike?
Thunderstrike? Yeah,
Ugh,
that's
get
what I
outta
mean.
here.
So maybe, probably, there's been a ton of Avengers lineups.
I'll have to look into that. If you know the answer, save me some time and find us on Twitter
For sure.
or something, or the Discord.
Yeah, Pixar, it didn't happen, though.
Yeah.
And the other book I read, the last #1, is City Boy.
City Boy?
Came out this week. This is a Greg Pak book, so I had to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
The cover was just so intriguing to me. I don't know anything about the character because I didn't read, what was it, Lazarus Planet?
Yeah.
So can he like draw stuff and it comes to life? What is
No,
that?
he's like connected to a city. Like he has the ability to like psychically talk to cities
Like a street lamp.
Yeah, like as if it was an organism.
Whoa.
So he's kind of like he's tapped into everything in the city, and he uses this power at the beginning of the book to find stuff that's lost
Mm-hmm.
and make money from it. So like
anyone would do.
like anyone would do. So like he like finds a Rolex in a gutter and takes it to a pawn shop, and and that's how he's like making his living.
So this is like how Warlock can talk to Krakoa.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But he can do that with any city that he's in.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but he also has the ability to like physically change the structure of the city should he choose to.
Like he can turn like a Walgreens into a CVS.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
It's just the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, he can turn an Applebee's into a Chili's with the snap of his fingers.
Wrong way. Flip it.
For real. But no, this is one of those We Are Legends books that DC's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, I'm presuming that this will cross over with like Vigil and Spirit World and
Right.
whatever that other one was. But this was a super entertaining book. Again, there's like a mystery at the heart of it of, you know, who are the people that gave him his powers and why, and
Oh, gotcha.
you know, who's he working for, and who are
So
these
he
people that are
hasn't had
chasing
these
him.
forever.
No, he's had them for like 10 years or something.
I love these books like this.
And
that
he's 11.
give somebody a power set that is like, what do you do with that in a comic book?
Right.
You know what I mean? And the first issue is kind of like, oh, like kind of what I thought. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like finding lost stuff around town. And where it goes from there is going to get, I'm because Greg Pak's writing it, right?
Oh, yeah,
It's
for
gonna-
sure.
It's going to get crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The character design's really cool. He's just wearing like streetwear, but he's got like a line across his jacket that's makes a city landscape.
Yeah.
Or like a, what do you call that?
Skyline.
Skyline.
Yeah.
DC does this a lot with characters that they introduce a new power and you're like, huh,
Yeah.
okay. Like how damage could only be damage for 1 hour of the day. Where
Yeah,
like
right.
he's like this big hulking creature, but only for an hour.
Like Our Man.
Yeah, and you're just, and you're just like, what am I gonna do with this? Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
And so there's so many of those where you're just like, huh. Well, let's see if it works.
Yep. What I'm hoping is that this book has like a lot of legs because
Looks like 2 on the cover. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
that was the podcast. My hope is that they let Greg Pak do whatever he wants with this, because doing something like Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, where he shot Swamp Thing into space,
Oh,
would
right.
be incredible with someone who has the ability to talk to cities.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Sure, go to an alien planet.
go to an alien planet
That'd
and
be
he can
cool.
talk to their city. Put him in the bottle city of Kandor. Right?
Oh, okay.
Superman.
Now we're going somewhere.
Right? There's a lot of stuff you could do with this interesting character, because other than his city stuff, he's just a dude, right? Like he can't shoot laser beams, he can't whatever, but I think there's a lot of potential. here.
So like does like the city communicate with him like through words or like through like
no, he can just like see it.
so like he's like someone lost their backpack and the city's like it's over here.
It's more like somebody lost their backpack, and like how Swamp Thing communicates with the Green.
Okay.
It's more like that, where he's
like-
like constantly
okay.
in contact with every part of the city, and it's like a spidey sense kind of thing where he just knows where stuff
Okay.
is.
So like the street isn't just like, hey, can you tell people to quit spitting on me? Like,
Yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah, the street's not like, gum again.
Sentient, just
Right.
like kill me.
Yeah. It's more like he's a part of this organism.
Okay.
That
So it's
is a
exactly
city.
like Warlock and Krakoa. Like
Yeah.
just in Swamp Thing in the green of just like you are entangled in the energy of the city and can use it to your benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That will be interesting to see how they stretch that out into a character.
If Google
Yeah.
Maps was a power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
If Waze was a human.
if Google Maps was a power, but you could edit the app and it would edit the city.
Superman called MapQuest. I lost my keys.
Yeah, so City Boy out on DC.
What a week.
Yeah, indeed.
We did it again. If you're just dying for more, meet us over on the Patreon.
Oh, and a new thing that Patreon let us do, you can have a 7-day free trial to the Patreon.
Okay.
So if you want to try it for free, go to patreon.com/first-issue-club, click the free trial, check us out, and dip.
We've got well over 100 episodes there.
Mm-hmm. Well over 6 videos.
If you do a week-long trial, lock yourself in a room for several days straight,
Mm-hmm.
you could probably get through.
Preferably the bathroom. Right?
Right, yeah.
It's got to go somewhere.
It's true, it does. Back in again?
What is this, human centipede?
Bye. First Issue Club is edited and produced by Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtag, and Andy Vargas. Follow us on social media at First Issue Club, and check out our Patreon for videos, audio, and more at patreon.com/firstissueclub.